Okay guys, if you got a Jeep that has a snorkel on it, you probably know the problem with you don't have any washer fluid anymore, because right behind here is where the original washer bottle is, and now it's gone. Or if you just bought a Jeep, that's where it used to be, and in order to install this silly snorkel. I don't like the snorkel, and I'm not going to reinstall the previous water bottle either. We're just going to leave this alone. We're going to head to the shop right now and see what we can do about making a bracket to relocate this. Now before we go any further, I just need to remind you that I did an AC delete on this Jeep, and that is basically where I'm going to be relocating the water bottle to, on the far side of the Jeep. There is another place over here if you want to hodgepodge it in right next to the brake booster, but I didn't like that idea, so we're going to do something different. All right, good morning guys from Alaska. Yeah, we're doing basic upgrade. I got this Kimi Moto washer bottle, which is basically meant for a side-by-side. It comes with all the parts and pieces, but this is the little washer bottle that I came up with. And I found this piece of metal here. I got it basically traced out of what I kind of want to do with it, but I'm going to be making a bracket out of this, and I'm going to mount this in a very unique way compared to what I've seen other people do. Now we're going to go to the front of the vehicle here, show you a little bit about what I'm thinking, and I hope this works. If you haven't installed hood pins on your Cherokee, yeah, definitely do it. It's worth it. Also get these hood struts. But okay, I watched another guy's video, and he had his mounted, it was like wedged in right here, and then he had it kind of like zip tied in there. That's an option if you don't want to run hoses all the way across. So you can definitely mount it here in some particular fashion. I don't really want to do that, but you know, all my wires and connections are all right here, and here are my hoses as well. So I'm going to have to run everything all the way across the engine bay. So mounting it right here might not be a bad option for most people. But as you can see, this is an incredibly small bottle. But I've already done the alternator relocation. So the alternator's up here, the AC is out of the way. I got my AC lines cut. I need to get a tool to take these off. I might have one here at the shop because we are at a shop today. But now that I did that, I have this bracket right here. So I removed the big annoying piece that was in the way, and since I'm in Alaska, I don't need that. But my thought process on this is going to be take this bottle and mount it on a bracket right in here. That way it's easily accessible. I can run all the hoses and wires right across there and patch into that, and then hopefully this will turn out to be a halfway decent project, and this will be tucked up out of the way enough it's not going to be a problem. Okay, before I go in the shop, I just want to show you guys what comes in the box. This is an extremely inexpensive side-by-side type washer bottle. It does come with the motor, basic hookups. It doesn't fit a whole lot of liquid. Now, it comes with some hose. It also comes with some various parts and pieces in case you should need to tap into whatever. It also comes with this handy-dandy little push button in case you do have a side-by-side application. You can just hook that up to your electrical, and it comes with some basic mounting hardware. I might be using some of that for the back portion of this right here, because this is the part that the washer bottle is mounted to when it goes onto the bracket. And it also comes with some power cords. So this might be long enough to reach from one side of the Jeep all the way over to the other. So we might be utilizing this right here. And it also comes with some basic instructions in case you don't know how to wire up a washer bottle. All right guys, so here's what I came up with. I just basically ground off the edges, smoothed them off the best I could. So we got everything mounted up here. Now these little nuts and bolts here are what came in the package. There's a bolt, there's a nut, there's a washer, and a lock ring, lock type washer there. So I used those out of the package. These are 10 millimeter, and that's what comes in that brand right there. Now in order to drill the holes, I had to use a 15/64 drill bit, this drill bit right here. Now the next thing I need to do is take this over and try to figure out where I'm going to put the mounting holes on this side of the bracket, drill those out, and then everything there should be mounted up and secured under the hood. So when this is all said and done, it should be pretty nice. Now all I need to do now is just basically set this in here, and I can use the pre-existing mount right on the other side. I can just take a Sharpie and then mark those holes right there and just put in 2 little securement spots, and yeah, hopefully be done with that. And then I might need to bend this out just a little bit just to make sure the bracket is away, because there's going to be bolts on the other side. The vibration could wear that out. All right, so all I did was I just set that in there the best I could. I traced out the hole, so I can put 2 holes anywhere in this area right here that I marked with a Sharpie pen, and hopefully I can have this securely mounted and in the vehicle here within the next 10 or 15 minutes or so, maybe less. All right, so we got everything rough fitted in here, and we're gonna do a test fit on this, make sure everything fits. Show you guys a quick image of what I got going on. So here's the bracket. It's mounted to stock everything on this side over here. I came up with a couple screws, washer, another washer on the back side, a lock washer, and then the appropriate size nut to fit. Those are, I believe it's like a 5/8 or something like that. It's pretty small. But when we take the bottle, it should fit in here no problem. And it should just slip right in there. So that's basically what installed looks like. The next step is going to be figuring out the hookups down here and running them across the motor, and then hopefully having a washer bottle in here. And the nice thing about the location is it's not going anywhere. And the reason why I chose screws is because I didn't want the, because they got round heads, and I didn't want bolts rubbing up against the side of the bottle right there, so I used the round head screws. Okay, let's get on to the next part. All right, I'm back at the house. My buddy Steve said my head looked a little funny, and I put on a face shield that was in the shop, and that's what happened to my head when I was grinding. All that dust and dirt went up on my skull, so now I got to go inside and wash that off real quick, and then we're going to get started on the electrical and hopefully hooking that hose up. Okay, first things first, I'm gonna need this, and I'm probably gonna need this, and we're probably gonna need some fittings out of here. So we got my extra hose, we got the fittings. I do need some, probably gonna need some flex loom, depending on how much wire that I'm gonna be using. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. There's my cat. All right, guys, this is my hodgepodge way of trying to figure out, you know, which one is which. So we got 2 connectors here. This one I believe is for the back windshield wipers. We don't have back windshield wipers. I have 2 hoses here, one there, one there. I still have to figure out which hose goes to my actual washer fluid. But so this little oddball connector down here, of course it's got to be the oddball one. I'm gonna have to splice into that, and this is how I figured out which one had the power. Is I just put a paper clip in there. I also put a little clip on the end of this and then ran that over here to my ground, and then this is hooked to here, so that way I got the key on right now. And if you look really closely, you can see that little red light at the bottom light up, so that tells me that that is for the windshield wipers. Okay, I'm pulling out this power cord that comes in the kit. This thing is longer than me, so I got more than 7 feet of wire here to work with. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this in some flex loom before I even get started. At least that way I got some protection going on there. I'm probably gonna run out of flex loom, but that's okay. All right, so I'm not the brightest bulb in the box. This seems to be the easiest way to install flex loom. Just get a screwdriver in there, and once it's going, it'll start feeding it through, hopefully, if you don't lose your spot. But it started to work really nicely. Of course it's going to give me problems just because the camera's on, but it was just flowing through, no problem. There we go. Okay, that by far was the fastest way of putting flex loom on that I've been able to find. All right, let's figure out if this is gonna be enough flex loom or if I gotta add a little bit more. I only have so much left, and I like to strip this stuff out. I use cars that I find at the junkyard. I mean, stuff works again. Okay, I had enough flex limb to run all the way across and get all this hooked up. This is a pretty tight connection in here. I did have to just loosen up the air box a little bit in order to get enough length so I can get in here to everything. We're going to clean this up a little bit more, but now the process is try to figure out which one of these hoses goes to the windshield, and just a process of elimination. But hey, at least we got power to the washer. All right, let's take a look at this hose. I got a lot of hose here. I got just as much hose as I had wire, so I shouldn't have any problem at all getting from one side of the vehicle to the other. Still got quite a bit of hose left over in case you need some. But okay, this is what we got so far. We have our hoses hooked up down here. It's threaded through. I just threaded it through the same spot I tied the wire down. Runs all the way across the motor to that side. Then it's just coming down through here. I made sure to leave this long enough to reach both hoses just in case. That way, you know, if one or the other isn't the right one, not a big deal. You just switch the hose. And hopefully it works. But for right now, we're just going to use this one right here, and it doesn't matter which hose I choose, it's always going to be the wrong one first. So that fitting slides in really nice and easy. And this is the first hose. We're going to test this one out, see if that works. If not, no big deal. And we'll try again. All right, first things first, we got to add a little bit of fluid in here. Since I put this reservoir right here, it should be nice and easy to get to, and I shouldn't have much problem filling it at any time of year. But it is pretty far away. But we're going to get this filled up here and see, you know, what's going to happen here. This is a brand new jug too, this Rain-X washer fluid. All season, good stuff. Should hopefully help me if I should decide to take a trip on the highway. Just put this back on. There we go. Let's give this thing a try. Keys in the ignition. Wish me luck. I can hear the motor. Give it a few seconds. And so far, nothing. Might be working the one in the back. I don't know. Maybe it is. We're gonna try switching the hoses, see what happens. All right, I just got done switching the hoses, the keys on. Wish me luck, because I only had one other hose to choose from. Oh my gosh, yes. There we go. Just like that, I got windshield washer fluid again. Ha! That's awesome. If you guys are interested in this product, this is a very inexpensive product that I found on Amazon, and it's made by a company called Kimoto. And this does work. It works really well. This was a super easy install. It took me longer to come up with exactly what shots I was going to do for the video, and probably the video editing, than it did for the whole process of getting this thing installed in the vehicle. I mean, ultimately, this is about half an hour, 45-minute job tops. And I think building the bracket was probably one of the hardest parts that I had to do, was just build the bracket, find the material, get it cut, find nuts and bolts. But yeah. So far the Jeep's coming along, guys. I'm loving this Jeep life, and yeah, for the love of Jeeps.